everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Slightly Obsessed podcast. I'm your host, Tianna, and yes, guys, thank you for joining me once again. This is a place where curiosity meets emotion, passion, chaos. Yes, things can get a little chaotic, but nothing that we never could handle. But how y'all doing? How y'all been? I feel like every time I'm here, I'm so excited to talk to you guys, and I feel like I always have so much things to fill you guys in on. For one, I'm not gonna lie, the past few weeks for me have been a little chaotic, but in a good way, guys. Like, I was working on a film called Intimate Betrayal, directed by Derek Hammond. And yes, guys, I was a second assistant director. Yes. Also, I had a role. Her name was Maritza. So I'm so excited. Like, I feel like that experience on set has been such an amazing experience. Like, just from the actors, just from learning from everyone, wardrobe, hair, makeup, everyone was just so amazing. Everyone was so helpful. And it was just, I just love that whole spirit of being on set. We're all here to have a good time, to make a film. Like, I'm so excited, guys. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait for you guys to just be there. Like, being back behind the scenes is something I've always loved doing, guys. And like, also, I'm an actress as well. So being able to do that and be surrounded by so much talent is so amazing. But yes, y'all, that experience is good, and I could talk about that on and on and on. But being on set, it actually made me realize something. And not just for myself, but for you guys too, because it could be something that y'all are going through as well. Like, do you know how to show up? Are you good at responsibility, handling responsibility? Are you good at discipline? But I feel like you may be good at that, but I feel like, are you giving that energy to yourself that you're giving to everyone else? Be honest, guys. Are you showing up for yourself the same way you're showing up for everyone else and everything else? Like, I had to be real with myself. Like, I feel like that was a problem that I tackled, like, think a few years ago, and I still kind of deal with it on my everyday basis. I feel like I'm just that type of person. I love going with the flow. I love the vibes. I love good energy. But sometimes doing that, like, I feel good on the outside sometimes, or sometimes it can be very chaotic on the inside. Like, definitely very chaotic. So I had to ask myself, why am I waiting for someone to treat me like a priority when I could have been doing that all along for myself? I feel like we know the life we want to create. So what are we doing, giving people all these unlimited takes in your life? Like, I feel like everyone's not meant to be the lead in your life. Like, and that's what this episode is about. It's about main character energy, about dating yourself, about, you know what I mean? Just treating yourself like a priority. Dating yourself and learning how to direct your life. And now I'm asking you, why are you waiting for someone to do something that you can do yourself? Like, I feel like you have to value yourself in order to be valued. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're waiting for them to make you feel special, make you feel good, when you could just date yourself. What are you really waiting for? Because you know how to show up. Because if you don't show up, nothing moves. Like, you want to create the life that you want. So what are you doing? Create the life that you want. Learn how to date yourself. Learn how to be happy. You're not dependent on no man. You're not dependent on nobody, okay? Because one thing a man is going through is always choose himself. If we know one thing, two things for certain, a man is always going to choose himself, and you're going to end up being hurt. So you got to learn how to value yourself. You got to learn how to just run that ship by yourself. I feel like a man is a bonus. Like, I feel like you got everything going on. Like, yeah, a man is a bonus. If you're learning how to treat yourself, make yourself feel special, taking them trips, taking them days to yourself, okay? Like, yeah, you could possibly have some girl time. You know what I mean? Your friends, I think your friends are so important. Like, I think your friendships are so important in your personal journey. Like, what? But yeah, like, you gotta know how to do that. So when we talk about dating ourselves, let's stop there for a second. What does dating yourself mean? And it doesn't mean just staying home, y'all, staying on the couch, binge watching TV shows. I'm talking about actually going out on a date, like actually yourself, like getting dressed up, going to do something fun. Maybe it's a new adventure you always wanted to do. Maybe it's just something you just wanted to do, but you were waiting to do it with someone, like waiting for someone to ask you to go on a date. But no, if we once we learn how to date ourselves, like we become more okay with how learning how to detach from people. I got a question for you guys. So, when you break up or you stop dating someone, do you feel that you miss that person or you just missing the feeling? Because I feel like if I can give myself my own peace, my own energy, my own effort, like I feel like that guy is just a bonus. So honestly, I feel like when you break up with that person, you don't really miss that person. You miss that tension. You miss that validation. You miss that feeling. And once you learn how to start giving it to yourself, the person just becomes a bonus and an add-on. So I'm not saying it makes it easier when you stop dating or you break up, but just, I feel like ask yourself that question. When you stop dating someone, does your life fall apart? Do you feel like you're empty and you're not full anymore? Because if that's the case, you were leaning too hard on that person. And I feel like that happens to all of us at some point in our lives, but we have to learn how to get above that because, of course, it's a part of attachment. But with attachment, you really have to learn detachment. And that's a hard part, especially when your feelings are all involved and wrapped up. Like, what's going on? Like, nobody wants to be in that position or situation. So, yeah, that's like really something that I had to sit with. I feel like I know how to show up. Like, I feel like that's not the hard part. It's just applying that to your everyday life, knowing that, yeah, you gotta show up for yourself the same way you show up for people. And y'all, like I think being on set, like I really realized something. Like it really clicked for me. Being a second assistant director, like you're really running the production. There's a schedule, there's a call time, there's structure, there's a whole schedule on how things should run. And so when the schedule gets thrown off, like you got to learn how to pivot. You got to learn how to move forward, but it does kind of slow down production. So I feel like you got to apply that to life, like even for work, even for your job. Like, you know what I mean? If somebody's late or relieving you or whatever the case may be, like you feel like kind of like, you're thrown off in a way. But I feel like we give too much power to people. On set is really simple. If you don't respect the schedule, like you get lost, you get left, okay? Like if you disappear, like on set, we don't chase actors. I feel like you get replaced. You get replaced easily. Like if you can't do the job, if we gotta constantly try to find you where you at, like you get replaced easy. So why am I chasing people in real life? Like I feel if I gotta chase you, you're already out of position, okay? I feel like you not the lead. Why are we constantly giving background characters main character access to your life? No, it shouldn't be like that, okay? Like I feel like if you chasing someone, that's already doing too much, okay? Because on set, I'm early. I'm prepared. We ready to go. We ready to have a good time. But I feel like that was an issue. Like I wasn't giving that same energy 100% to my own personal life. I was showing up for everyone else and what everything else is so important. And I feel like that's so important. And you know what? I had to learn you don't get unlimited takes in my life anymore. I feel like you're constantly chasing people, but they weren't really meant to be there in your life. So why are you chasing them? Yeah, I feel like chemistry is cool, right, y'all? I feel like chemistry, that's cute to have chemistry with someone, like y'all on the same path, y'all vibing. But I feel like chemistry don't really ever work if there's no direction, if there's no consistency, if there's no effort. Like it just goes out the window. What are we really doing here? Like chemistry's cute, but and I think that was a part of my past. Like I feel like I'm growing and learning every day. Like I know how to show up for myself. Or lies. I didn't really know how to show up for myself, but I was showing up for everyone else and everything else. But boom. No way, y'all. Bye. So guys, I have to ask you this question. Why are you waiting for someone else to do something for you that you could be doing yourself? Because you know how to show up. You know how to be on time. You know how to follow the schedule. You know how to do all this. I feel like in order to create that life that you want, you got to start giving to yourself 100% as you give 100% to everything and everybody else. Because, that just don't work. Okay? So all right, guys, thank you for joining me on another episode of the Slightly Obsessed podcast. Guys, yes, I feel like this process is a journey in life. I feel like we're constantly learning how to grow and we're constantly learning each other. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Like, follow me on Instagram at Tianna or the Slightly Obsessed Pod, or you can subscribe to my page on YouTube, Slightly Obsessed Podcast. All right, guys. Thank you. Ooh, bye.